Oh
Like,
man,
when you're first
these odds
it's
are
just
fucked. These odds are fucked. I'm looking at some of these odds here, and
it's
brutal
really,
card.
bro. That's what I was literally saying. Like, you're gonna have to bet 5 fighters to get plus 200. It's gonna be a big prop fucking card,
Yeah.
and that's what sucks about tickets is when a fighter kills like 3-4 of your tickets and you can't rebet it immediately.
We are live for the MMA Control podcast here with Big Verb, and I am Jack Gold. And this is a big week for both of us. I'm already on location in Las Vegas. You can see by the pink flamingos behind me. You can take a guess where I am. But Big Verb's going to meet me out here on Thursday, and he's going to be living his best life. How are you doing, sir? This is a big week. Are you excited?
I'm doing good, man. That's a very classy looking room. You could almost you might be in Florida with them pink flamingos in the back. I'm super ready. Pretty good card we were discussing, before. Not always the biggest names, but the main card is just absolutely elite. All bangers in my opinion. We're both gonna be in Vegas same time. We're gonna find a way to get you a ticket, and it's gonna be a blast.
Oh, I can't wait. And what makes this card even more exciting for me personally is just when you have people you've interviewed that are fighting and get their first big opportunity. Friend of the program, Yusuf the Moroccan Devils of Law, is on his first pay-per-view main card. We just talked to him about 2 weeks ago, and it's a tough fight versus Josh Emmett, who I love as well, but I'm just happy to see guys that are good to us and good people getting big opportunities.
Absolutely, man. That's pretty exciting. That's dope. And I mean, I don't interview fighters, but I also feel the way like when I meet fighters and like take some pictures with them and actually meet them and then they fight after that, you do kind of root for him a little bit more.
You got that connection afterwards. You're like, oh, he was good to me.
And at the end of this video, I'm going to tell you this wild story about how fighters, after taking pictures of me, don't always have the best runs. But I'll get into that way down the night later.
If we want to just jump right into it now, preface, we've been hot 3 for 3 on our picks and locks of the week. It should be 4 for 4, but Louis Sutherland got pulled off the card. So we're 3 for 3. We got Jesus Aguilar plus at 172. We had Diego Lopez as our pick of a week at plus 225. And now last week, I can't even remember off the top of my head who we picked. Oh, Tom Nolan. What am
All right, I'm sorry.
We was Tom Nolan. Heavy Train got the job done. First submission win, though. We both thought knockout, but hey, that's why we said money line.
Absolutely, and you got good odds on it too. And actually, we would be 3 for 3 on main events if we had agreed last week. But it happens. I think you got a little taste of that dog. We were on a run, the dog back-to-back dogs, and you just wanted to keep going. But I do understand, and you're forgiven.
Hey, god dang it, Dom Reyes got sent to the Shadow Realm again.
I told you about this chin. I told you.
And first round, you called it. You knew you had to read. I had the wrong read. I did horrible on picks last week. I went 5 and 8, but the one that mattered hit.
That's all that matters.
But this week, we were just going over it before the card. Man, these betting odds are horrific. I was pumped for Perth because we had so many even fights. I was like, oh my God, this feels like it was the first time in a long time where the majority of fights had good odds. Like it was good odds for the most part, and you could bet whoever you wanted. Now, just going to run through the favorites on each of these fights really quick. Minus 650, minus 300, minus 275, minus 275. Oh, we got a 175 here. Minus 145, minus 450, minus 300, minus 1,000, minus 250, minus 450, minus 185. Minus 370, minus 275. I mean, what do you want us to do here? We got to parlay 7 people together?
It might just be a dog week. Someone's bound to bark.
Someone.
It's always just, is it going to be one of those really juicy ones, or is it going to be the kind of borderline even one?
See, oh my gosh, thank God. I had Jake Matthews was my final leg on a $400 parlay. $3 for 400. Big Verb. I was gonna. Luckily, going into the third round, my spidey senses were tingling, bro. I got Magny at plus 801 live bet. I threw a 30 burger on that.
Wow.
He saved me.
That's actually crazy. I'll tell you, I was looking at the odds right. I mean, as they were walking out and I saw Magni plus 1,000 for sub and tingling, but I don't know. I think my food had just got there and I got so distracted, I completely forgot about it. But it's so funny. I had, I think it was like a 6 or 7 Australian parlay that I had just of random people. Most of the people we picked. And he was the one person I left off of it on the main card. He was the only Australian
That's huge.
left off of it.
And he was the only Australian that lost. It was what, 9-1?
Bro, he lost, and I thought he was on my parlay, and I was like
devastated. Then you look back and you're like,
we're alive. So it sucked. And that was a very controversial fight at the same time. So I'll be interested to see if there is kind of any turnover with that referee.
There won't be.
Probably not, but I've never seen anything like that. Let's get into this great card that we got this weekend.
Yeah. First fight of the night. My bae, my queen. Sorry, Dan. Veronica Hardy. She's coming in to unleash a can of whoop ass on Brogan Walker. She is minus 650. So you can't bet this. If you do, maybe decision, like Hardy decision. But my queen's going to get this done 30-27.
Yeah, I love Veronica Hardy. She has blessed me many times, gambling wise, especially actually I remember my first UFC St. Louis. She was the opening, and I had 500 on her to win by decision, and she just made easy money of that. Actually, I look at this, and I think this could be one of those times where she maybe gets a finish, even though I know it's very hard for her to get a finish. She's small. She definitely doesn't have, a size advantage by any means, but I do feel like this is kind of a layup for her. I feel like this is an easy fight for her in every way. So
I agree 100%. And Brogan Walker is not a UFC level fighter. I don't like talking bad.
He gets subbed. I'm telling you, Hardy is live.
I don't like talking shit about anybody really. But it's just like Brogan Walker is not a UFC fighter.
No,
she's not good enough. And Veronica is, and I love that from you. Veronica's sub is probably going to be like plus 700. Get some juice on there. Now this next fight, and here's the other thing. We're going to go through a couple of these. Maybe we skip. I'm going to skip one here. Maybe you skip yours and we get our favorite pick of the week.
Okay.
But I'm not there yet. But we have a hometown guy for both of us, Ramiz Brahimaj at plus 200, taking on Austin Vanderford, Paige Van Zandt's husband, who is a minus 300 favorite here. And this is a tough fight. I think it should be closer to a pick'em, but I do think Austin Vanderford is going to get the job done.
I 100% agree. I agree on the odds too. It should be a little bit closer. I think maybe a lot of money's coming in on Austin. I didn't see where the betting line started on it. I do think he's kind of better overall. Yeah, I think I'm not even going to go too much detail about it. I'm just not super impressed with him. Ramiz, that last win with Billy and the guillotine was the biggest joke of a UFC win I've ever seen. I would almost want that investigated because he just dived into a guillotine. I've never seen anything like that at a UFC level, at least.
So many parlays busted, dude.
Yeah, so I'm just not impressed by his wins at all, to be honest with you. So I like what I've seen from Austin, so I think I'm going to go with Austin.
Now, I'm going to skip this one. So next up, we've got Patchy Mix versus Jacob Wikileaks, the KSW champion, coming over here with Robert Rucola, who we saw on UFC Paris. And he's taking on Patchy Mix. Now Patchy Mix minus 275 after a very tough first outing. And Wikileaks is legit, man. He is a fighter. But I think Patchy Mix pulls it together. I think he is elite. I always believed he was elite. And I'm not jumping off the train now. I think he gets a win here.
Yeah, I was honestly kind of hoping UFC would have lower odds on Patchy Mix after that last fight. Maybe they'd give him a little breathing room, but I do still see they believe in him, as they should. I think he's the better overall fighter. I think the UFC's, I don't want to say they're throwing him a really good fight, but I feel like they're kind of throwing him a decent fight to get in the win column. I think he's better grappling, striking. I think he wins in all elements unless he unfortunately just gets caught with something. But I think this is a good fight to kind of get him. And I think that's why they got him so early on the prelims, because how do you go from main card to early prelims? So I think they're just throwing him a quick fight. Hey, win this. We're going to get you back in.
No, I agree 100%. I think you got the read there. Next up, we've got Macy Chasson taking on Yana, formerly Kunitskaya, now Yana Santos. I think this one's pretty cut and dry. Yana has not won in a long time, and Macy Chasson is a good fighter. I'm going with Macy Chasson here.
If this is betting wise and everything, this is going to be one of my picks of the week. Macy, I think at minus 170 is one of the best favorite odds you're going to get on the card that you can feel.
Pick of the week. Pick of the week. Pick of the week.
If you just look at everyone and who's favorite and the odds, this is the best value competition wise. Like you said, she hasn't won in a while. Who she's won, washed up kind of vet, the end of the road career wins. I think Macy.
And I'm going to add on top of that. Sorry.
No, go for it.
No. Adding on top of that, I'll throw my pick of the week in there. Maybe you throw them together and get some plus money. I'm going with the fight I skipped at minus 275. I love Punale Soriano here versus Nikolay Varetnikov. And I think at minus 175 and minus 275, you might end up at something about minus 110, plus 100, something good there.
100%. Yeah, that should be somewhere around. Maybe even plus one. Yeah. That sounds about right. I agree with him. I'm going to go with that. He's looked really good. Weight move, obviously, had a rough run, but it was due to the weight class where he spent a lot of his career in. So I think he's kind of on a positive route. I don't think this is some super step up in competition for him either. He lives in Vegas, correct?
Yep, at Extreme Couture.
So,
and Varetnikov is coming off like a weird fight. Sapuna's looked amazing at 170, and if you throw those together, you are coming away with plus 115 odds. Oh my goodness, we did it.
That's nice. Yeah, no, I think that's nice. I think both are better overall fighters, have the UFC experience to prove that, and have honestly just fought better competition than what they're going up and won a lot of
100%.
So yeah, easy money.
Now, after our favorite picks of the week, we've got our underdogs of the week. Big VERB. Which dog is barking for you this week?
It's gonna be Joe Sang Yo. I hope I said that right. I've been seeing a lot of people call him like the Korean Connor and stuff like that. He got that beautiful karate stance. He does beautiful stuff that makes you fall in love with fighting. Daniel Santos coming off, that Brazilian Muay Thai, Charles Oliveira, elbows in. Knees, a little bit of jiu-jitsu, no grappling, but jiu-jitsu. So you're looking at trips and stuff, but he doesn't really take it to the ground unless he's getting beat up. So I think you're going to see striking, and I think Joe Sang Young is going to have the advantage. I think he's going to be able to dip in and out. Santos is probably going to be pushing forward because that's, shoot boxing style, which honestly suits Sang Yo more because he can just pop in and out, in and out. And I think, maybe late TKO, but I can definitely see a clean decision win for him here.
And I'm going to ride that train with you. My underdog of the week is also Ju Sang Yo. He's good, man. And I think the biggest thing is Daniel Santos looked good coming up to 45, but he is a natural 35er. Like with this 45, he's a little bit tubby. He could take damage really good, but I think the speed and the precision of Ju Sang Yo is going to just be the difference maker. And I kind of like him by knockout here too. So he's plus 120 money line, and probably by knockout he'll probably be about plus 250.
Yeah, minimum plus 200.
And the other underdog I might sprinkle something on because they're two guys I love. I'm going with Khalil Roundtree at plus 150 as well.
That's your other underdog? Okay.
Close one. That's a 50-50 fight.
50-50 fight. Who do we got next?
Next up, we've got Farid Basharat taking on Chris Gutierrez. It is the battle of the snoozers. It is Big VERB's got more faith than I do. This fight's gonna freaking stink. They're very good and technical fighters, but they're decisionators, 30-27s, 29-28s, like master classes. That's what they do. So expect a 29-28 leg kick battle here, but I'm gonna go with Farid Basharat to get the job done.
I'm right there with you. I think he's a heavy favorite for a reason. Chris Gutierrez, obviously very skilled and experienced fighter. Doesn't have really too many bad losses either. And he kind of, like you said, they're both kind of stinkers. So I feel like sometimes when you get a couple stinkers together, you get a kind of a wild fight because somebody's got to switch it up. which usually makes mistakes.
You could, or you could get the ultimate stinker.
No, you're not wrong about that. It's a big fight for both of them. I know, obviously, Bacherat's coming off wins. Gutierrez coming off 2 wins too, so they're both in pretty good position right now. I think I'm going to go heavy favorite, but I also think this could, like you said, could be a really close decision. So I wouldn't, you're kind of looking at these odds. Who's the big upset? I wouldn't be surprised if for whatever reason, just a little bit of grappling and, leg kicks kind of add up and you lose a split decision. I could see that happening here. So I'm just throwing that out there.
If you have the prop available, my prop for this fight would be don't pick a winner. This fight's going to a split decision. I'd put money on that.
Agreed with that.
All right.
On to the next.
Next up at 185, we've got Edmen Shahbazyan. He is kind of this huge prospect who's been up and down now in the UFC, and now he's fighting Andre Muniz, who was supposed to be the next Jacare back in 21-22, and then he got TKO'd by Paul Craig and he disappeared. So this fight's a weird one. It's a striker versus grappler matchup through and through, and Shahbazyan's a huge favorite, and I'm almost leaning Andre Muniz here.
I am not. I'm definitely leaning the opposite way. I think Edmen they both have faced great people, but I mean, you can't be mad at Edmen's losses. Fluffy. The Gerald fight was doing great until he put himself in a pretty bad situation. Tired. Gerald snatched him up. I mean, everyone he's lost, I'm going to ignore the Derek Brunson one because that's an ugly loss. Everyone else who is, a top 10, if not a top 5 fighter right now.
And to his credit, Derek Brunson was a top 10 fighter at the time too.
That time, 100%. I think Muniz has been on a weird route, and it wasn't just the Paul Craig. It was Brandon Allen subbing him, and he's supposed to be the ground guy. Paul Craig and getting knocked out by Paul Craig in 2023.
Brandon Allen's gross.
But Muniz,
he's submitting RBR, calling it now.
Yeah, but Muniz, you always think of submissions, ground game, and then just getting knocked out. He just got knocked out in April. I don't like that for him. I think he's in kind of a weird phase. This is definitely a big fight for him. I think it's a big fight for Edmen as well, because it would definitely move him up in the rankings. I think I'm going to go with the favor and go with Edmen. I think he's young, came in the UFC really young, and I think he's probably going to remain in the UFC for a while, where I think Muniz, he gets finished once or twice more. I think he's going to be on his way to PFO.
I agree with you 100%. Now, we've got the opener of the main card. We got body bags. Turn the body cam off. Joe Pyfer taking on Abus Magomedov. 2 guys who I'm not the biggest fan of, but I'm a stone cold American, and I like Joe Pyfer. And I hope he gets the knockout, but I think this is going to be a Joe Pyfer decision win.
Interesting. I like that. And if you watch this last fight, he's got this kind of new patient technical approach. He was fighting Kevin Gastelum, which we know hard. Nobody can knock him out apparently, no matter how many tacos he eats. I think this is interesting. I do like Joe for this. I think you're going to see a patient first round from both fighters. And then I think you're going to start seeing some heavy-handed throwing. And I think you're maybe going to see Joe catch him at some point, because he has been knocked down and knocked out. So I do think you're probably going to see Joe end up catching him kind of in that later second round, if not coming out really hot beginning of the second round.
My read on this fight is that Joe Pyfer is going to get very annoyed with Abus's very dangerous front kick. I think Joe's a little soft to the body, and I think that front kick's going to annoy him. So I think if Joe gets a finish, it's either going to be ground and pound or a submission. I think he's going to go for the takedown in this fight.
Interesting. I wouldn't be surprised. I like that.
Now, next up, friend of the program, Yusuf the Moroccan Devil Zalal, is fighting a very hard and difficult test for everybody in the division, Josh Emmett. This fight scares me for Zalal, man, because we see how he fights. Fans don't love him because he's an evasive fighter, but he's good. Deal with it. But he is a very jab in, 1-2 out, 1-2 out, 1-2 out, staying away, where Emmett lurks.
Yeah.
And if he lands, I'm concerned. But this is not at the apex, and that helps Yusuf Zalal tremendously because this is the big cage. I think Yusuf Zalal is going to win this fight because it is the big cage, and he could stay away from Emmett better than he would have been able to. Give me Yusuf Zalal at like minus 500. Crazy.
Yeah, I think this is definitely a dangerous fight for him. I can kind of understand the odds, but definitely
He should be minus like 130, not
I would
430.
say like 250, roughly 220-ish, 200 at least. Josh Emmett, he's 40. Not to take away from people older, because you can see they still do their thing sometimes in UFC, but 40 is that age where, and I mean he's at featherweight too. But Josh Emmett losses aren't bad. I can live with them. You know what I mean? They're against the best of the best.
And he killed Bryce Mitchell. He still got it.
I was there. I witnessed that actually. It was
killed him.
He literally, I'm telling you, the whole place went silent. Everyone thought Bryce Mitchell died.
And you know where that was? The T-Mobile Arena. Oh no.
I've seen Bryce Mitchell take some bad beatings in my time live. It's not really worth betting, obviously. I think if you're gonna bet anything, I think the best thing to do is go sprinkle Josh Emmett by TKO or something.
Emmett, yeah.
You know what I mean? It's probably ridiculous. So yeah, that's definitely what I would be aiming for if I.
Now in the feature fight of the pay-per-view, man, I cannot wait for this fight. It is Yuri Prochazka versus Khalil Roundtree. It is the two most eccentric light heavyweights there are. We've got the depressed fat man who became a walking weapon, 205, shredded, a sign of encouragement for everybody in the United States and world who is dealing with depression and fat, whatever. And Yuri is coming. He is simply an anomaly. He is one of one. He is Yuri Prochazka. So I don't know how you can root against either of these guys.
I think it's definitely going to be fight of the night. No question about it. I don't see any fight being better than this one unless it's a super early knockout somehow. Both these guys got pretty good chins though, so I think it will go a little bit. It's not going to end quick. I know you're on Roundtree this week. I think I'm going to go opposite. I think I'm going to go Yuri, it's with Khalil's style.
See, I think Yuri's going to win, but I think Khalil is a good bet due to Yuri's weaknesses being Khalil's best attributes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I think Yuri's going to win. He's got 20 more fights and 20 more wins, basically. And he finishes everybody, and you have to be like a killer to finish him. And Khalil outclassing Jamal Hill the way he did in Baku, it changed my mind a little bit about this fight. I'm like, oh man, he's dialed in.
Yeah, so that's what's weird. They're both coming off Jamal Hill wins. Do you just go off, who had the best performance against them? It's a tough one because Jamal Hill definitely touched both of them. Both were wars, borderline, you know what I mean? Just going shot for shot. But I will say Yuri looked way better against Hill, I think, than Khalil did. Khalil definitely, I think, became a little dominant, but I do think Hill had his rounds against Roundtree and had his moments where I feel like versus Yuri, he didn't really have too many moments. I think Yuri really was like being an overseas Ali, dodging, moving his head crazy, hands down the whole fight. Definitely got touched, but he just put it on Hill. So I think I'm going to go Yuri. I just don't know if Yuri's going to knock him out. I think, but Khalil has also a lot of war damage. So you just wonder how much can that add up? You know what I mean? Between the Alex Pereira fight, Jamal Hill, other fights. I mean, just a lot of damage, man.
Yuri's the best damager of them all. Like, you leave a fight with him, he fucks you up.
And it's so many different weapons. I think I'm going to go Yuri by decision. I know Yuri probably wants to finish and, he's going to be pressing forward the whole fight. I think Khalil's just going to be able to take it and dish it back a little bit, enough to where Yuri's got to step back and not have control of the fight, for all 15 minutes.
No, 100%. I just can't wait for that fight. I don't care who wins. It'll be great. 100%. Now, in the co-main event, it's two of my sweet Pookies having to fight each other, and it hurts my feelings. Because I've wanted nothing more than Corey Sandhagen to get a shot at the title and win the belt. But it has to be against Merab, the unbeatable machine, who is the most lovable guy in the UFC. Merab's going to dominate him. I think Merab is he's an awesome, he's just a great character, and he's such a dominant force where I don't think Corey Sandhagen's going to have much for him. But I think Corey's going to have the most for him out of any of his last few opponents.
I think I'm going Corey.
You're going to pick Corey?
I think I'm going to pick Corey. And I know it just doesn't make sense, but I do feel Corey has gone against like the best of this division. Like every single type of champion, fighter, style, matchup he's faced. Now, Merab does kind of have his own relentless style, but I think you can compare that with the Umars and stuff like that to a certain degree. I think Corey just has that experience. His wrestling has improved greatly over the last few years. You can see where he's almost using it more than his striking. I'm really interested in that difference where it just feels like it was so easy for him to get Sean down. I think Corey's, because I really think Sean's more jiu-jitsu focus, where Corey is more wrestling based focus. And that's a big difference. You know what I mean? So I do, and Corey's obviously, I think I'm going to pick Corey striking all day over Merab. Like I said, I know he's been using the grappling a little bit more, but I just think to a certain degree, Corey kind of has more weapons, I think. I think the striking's not going to be on Merab's side. I think cardio and obviously, wrestling is going to be. But I would say Corey has great cardio. We've seen him in 3 to 4 5-round fights, I believe, and all with banger competition. Like, TJ, I mean, all these, Peter Yan, I mean, these are all great fighters. But I think I'm going to switch it up. And these guys that look unbeatable, there comes somebody every now and then that kind of.
I agree.
And I don't think anyone else in the division has a better set of tools to do that than Corey. And it just feels like he's fought all these ex-champions, and now he's finally getting that current champion. And I just think he just has a moment. I don't think he's going to finish him or anything, but I just have this weird feeling that Corey might be the guy.
That would be awesome. I love Corey, but I think Merab is and I think you're right for sure. I think Corey has way more weapons. He has the leg locks. He has this better striking, better kicks, jump knees, like all this stuff. But I think Merab is so good at his one specialty, grinding you out and breaking you down. And I think he is the best to ever do it at that one thing. I don't think Corey's the guy that's going to be able to stop it.
Yep, like I said, it's not an easy call. I'm risking a lot of comments coming for me, but I think I'm going to go Sandhagen decision. That's going to be the big upset of the night.
I love it.
I think that's the big upset of the night.
Now in the main event, Alex Pereira gets his shot at redemption versus Magomed Ankalaev. If I'm not mistaken, you were at the first fight.
That is correct, sir. Very disappointing.
And I don't think anything is going to change. I think Magomed Ankalaev is going to get a decision win against Alex Pereira minus 275. I think he's not dialed in,
He definitely wasn't dialed in last time. I know we saw a lot of reports, or at least I did, and I don't know if these are true or not, so I'm sorry if I'm spreading some false information, but I did see a lot of reports about him saying, he had a broken hand, stuff like that. I don't know if that was true, but it would make sense on how he fought. Lack of striking. You know what I mean? Not pushing forward.
Like a ridiculous lack of striking.
Missing his left hand, like literally not using his left hook that he's known for. It was very weird to see live, especially not having commentary and watching him throw 10 strikes in a round. Very weird to see. I don't think it's enough time to improve any wrestling. It's only been, I think, 6 months, if that. I don't think it's enough time to improve any of those aspects of his skills. I think the only difference that can happen this time is he comes in more aggressive, not scared of the takedowns, and really goes for those shots to knock him out. Because I don't think this is one of those fights where he's going to win a decision. I think, and if he does, he's just going to need to get a knockdown or two. Ankalaev's got a chin. You know what I mean? I love Alex Pereira. He's literally one of my favorite fighters. It's the only reason I went and saw his last fight was because of him. I want him to win, but I have a feeling it's a little too early. But I also would love him to shock the world. And he's good at rematches. He has a history of being good at rematches, so you do have to acknowledge that. I know that's a weird thing to say, but when someone's fought you before and got a feel for you, it's a little different that second time around sometimes. We've seen that in history, especially with the belts. So I
agree
I
100%.
want to throw that out there. It's neither.
He's dangerous. He's far more dangerous than Ankalaev is.
I agree.
But it's just a matter of.
You say it, but I mean, Ankalaev's boxing looked great. The last fight, it looked honestly good. If you would have asked me before the fight, I would say it's average, but honestly, it looked pretty good during the fight. I rewatched a little bit of it. It looked clean and crisp. He was catching Alex, and he borderline dropped him that end of that one round. I don't want to sleep on his striking. I think Alex's best chance is definitely to catch him, because Alex, he's not a jab guy, so he's just not going to win a ton of these rounds. He's a kick, and he's southpaw, so he's not kicking him a bunch either. It's just a tough matchup for Alex, man. I want Alex to win. I'm rooting for Alex, but if I'm a gambling man, I think Ankalaev decision is probably what you're gonna put more than $100.
Yeah, Ankalaev decision for sure. And I say dangerous in the way we're like finishing the fight early, where Alex has that thing the whole fight, like you could just be shut off. Yeah. Where Ankalaev, like you see those early highlights over, like, oh yeah, Marcin Prachnio, Clinton Pereira, and Dolce, like, yeah, of course he's gonna kill them. Like, he's a fantastic fighter. But if you look at his last 9 fights, 7 decisions.
Yeah.
7 decisions.
I mean, there's a reason.
And they're not bad. It's not bad. But one of those ground and pound, one of those 2 TKOs. All right, let me put this out there. Out of those 9 fights, the only 2 people he has finished is a fully washed Anthony Smith, and Johnny Walker. Those are the only 2. No, so I'm just saying, like, if you're going to a decision with Krylov, Uzumir, Santos, Jan, Rakic, Pereira, you're probably going to go to another decision.
So I saw his fight with Jan live because it was a replacement.
Same.
It was Grover and Yuri were supposed to fight.
Oh, you saw Ankalaev versus Jan.
Ankalaev versus Jan.
I saw Alex versus Jan.
Okay. But yeah, I saw that event, and ever since then, I have not wanted Ankalaev to ever win the belt because it was such a boring fight. It ended up being a draw. It was a terrible.
Jan Blachowicz won that fight. No one can tell me differently. He won 1, 2, and 3.
I thought he did too. I thought it was a terrible fight. It was.
In no way round 5 was a 10-8. You're bringing me back to bad memories here.
And then the Alex fight. And it's not his fault. I do want to blame Alex a little bit for not getting involved with the strike on why that first fight was so boring, especially being there to watch. I think Ankalaev decision, but with all my heart, I pray Alex Pereira wins. And I will be on my feet jumping if he knocks him out. And I think, honestly, everyone but Dagestan or the UFC, Russia,
yeah, for sure,
happy as ever.
Dana will be like, thank you. Thank you.
Might not be happy is Carlos Alberg. If he sees Alex Pereira knock Ankalaev out,
he's going to be pissed.
But other from that, betting wise, sprinkle Alex for fun. But if you're betting big money, I think Ankalaev decision is a pretty easy fit.
Yeah, I mean, that kind of does it for the card. It's a weird one. It's a good one. A lot of great fighters and a lot of weird fights, but we're here. We're in Vegas. We're going to produce some good content together. We got some stuff at the end of the week we're cooking up. And remember, MMA Control, we're trying to gamble my way to UFC 320. Tonight, we're posting the video, 25 on black. We've had an overwhelming on black today in the comments.
I love that. If I bet roulette, I'm a big black guy. Unless I see a lot of red, black as well. But as always, a pleasure, and I will see you in a couple of days, my guy.
I can't wait, dude. This is going to be a good weekend.
Absolutely, man. See you soon.